Hi everyone. In this lesson I want to look at how we find the intercepts, the x and y intercepts of a function both algebraically and graphically. So I'm going to illustrate this with this linear function f of x equals 2x minus 9. You remember that if you want to find the y-intercept, if your graph is on the y-axis, your x-coordinate has to be 0. So I simply let x equal 0, and f of 0 in this case would be 2 times 0 minus 9, which is negative 9. So my y-intercept's negative 9. Pretty simple. Likewise, if I want to find the x-intercept, I let y equal 0. If I'm on the x-axis, I might not know the exact x-coordinate, but I certainly know if I'm on the x-axis, my y-coordinate is 0. So if I let y equal 0, I would set my f of x or y value to 0. So this right here is going to be 0 equals 2x minus 9. And that gives me an equation. When I solve it, that's going to tell me what x is, right? So I'm going to add 9 to both sides, and then go ahead and divide both sides by 2, so that my x value is going to be 9/2, and that's going to be my x-intercept. So I know that my x-intercept's 9/2 or 4.5 when I go to graph it. Okay. I also want to illustrate how we find these graphically. If you have a graphing calculator, then we would if I can find it here. There we go. So I would like to go to my y equals and go ahead and plug in here the 2x minus 9. So I go to my y equals up here. This is where my graphing functions are. And I'm just going to graph it on my standard window, zoom 6. And you can see the graph. It certainly agrees my y. It's going to cross the y-axis down here at negative 9, and you can see it's crossing the x-axis over here at 4.5 or 9/2. But I may not always know, be able to determine just eyeballing it what it is. So I'd like to be able to also calculate that value. So if I want to find the y-intercept using my calculator, what I can always do is just calculate. I hit the second button in the calculate. I want to calculate the value, and then it asks me what value do I want to plug in. So if I plug in 0 for x and hit enter, that tells me sure enough y is equal to negative 9. Okay? And then if I want to find the x-intercept, it's going to be 9/2, but notice if I just kind of trace along here, it doesn't allow me to get exactly right. These are the actual values the calculator plugged in when it plotted that, and so it gets pretty close to 4.5, but at 4.46 it's a little below the x-axis, negative, and now at 4.68 it's a little above the x-axis. So I'd like to be able to make the calculator tell me exactly what that x-intercept is. Well, another name for the x-intercept is a 0, because that's what makes the function or y value 0. So what I can do is I can go and calculate number 2, the 0. So notice I use the value, the first one, to find the y-intercept, and I use the second one, 0, to find the x-intercept. And then notice what the calculator tells me. It asks me, it says, give me a left bound, and so that means I need to go on the left-hand side of my 0. I know in this case the 0 is 4.5, so I need my x to be on the left-hand side of that, which in this case on the graph you're going to be below the x-axis. So I hit enter, and notice that it puts a little arrow there. So you've just told the calculator to start looking for your x-intercept right there, and now it switches and asks you for a right bound. So I'm going to arrow over on the right-hand side, which means my x has to be bigger than 4.5. So you can see that now that puts me above the x-axis as far as the graph. And they told the calculator to stop looking for the x-intercept there, and now it asks for a guess. So just arrow over here kind of close to where it is. That's close enough, and hit enter, and it'll tell you that the 0 is 4.5. Okay?